Tomorrow morning, August 4th, I will analyze for everyone a bit about how BTC and ETH are likely to move. Yesterday, we also analyzed together that BTC would have an upward trend. Yesterday, BTC went up to the 64,070 zone and then dropped all the way down to 62,300. And we've already achieved some pretty impressive win rates. So what does this morning's outlook look like? There's one more minute until the daily candle closes. If BTC opens, or rather if the daily candle closes as a green candle, here we're seeing a candle that looks like a dragonfly doji, which signals a trend reversal. If today's daily candle closes as a green candle, even if the body is small, as long as it turns green, then we can expect BTC to continue moving up to test higher levels around 65,000 and even higher at 66,000. If BTC closes today's daily candle as a red candle with a very small body, just as long as it's a red candle, then there's a high probability it will retest this low once again. It will retest the 62,300 area once more, and only then will it start to move up. Yesterday, I already made an analysis video for everyone, and our view is still to go long, so I gave out long orders for BTC and ETH around the 62,800 area, and it went up to 64,070. So we've already gotten in at the top, and it's moved more than 1,000 points in price, right? And my outlook continues for today. With this candlestick, if it closes as a doji candle, indicating a trend reversal with a green body, or if it closes just like this, then we will see BTC continue to rise and conquer new highs at 65,000 and 66,000. But if today's daily candle closes as a red candle with a body similar to this one, then it might retest this low once more around the 62,300 area before continuing to move up. So regardless of how the candle closes this morning, in my view, it can still continue to rise to the 65,000 and 66,000 zones. Let's continue to observe the H4 chart for further analysis. Now, if we carefully plot a horizontal line here on the 4-hour time frame chart, we can clearly see that the 62,300 zone so is currently acting as a remarkably significant and robust area of support for the price. And here we see a green candle with very strong momentum pushing up from the 62,500 area to 64,000. And with such strong momentum, we can expect it to push up to 65,000 and 66,000 next. If today's daily candle closes with a reversal doji, which is a candle with a red body, then there's a high chance it will retest this area once again, 62,300. If it closes with a doji candle that has a green body, then we can expect it to keep going up. If it doesn't retest this area, then we'll still wait to see what happens tomorrow morning. But my outlook is still bullish, so most likely this morning, BTC will have a correction back to the 62,300 area. If it comes back to that level, that will be our ideal entry point. We can place one order at the 62,300 area and a second order at the 61,500 area. Now, let's continue to look at the H1 chart to see how things are going. Here on the H1 chart, we can see that at the 62,300 area, there is a fairly strong uptrend and it is forming a support zone right here. If we observe on the H1 chart and draw a line across, we can see that this area is a temporary support zone for BTC. And at this temporary support zone, we can see that after it moved up to the 64,000 area, it retested the 63,300 area. And here we can see a reversal doji. We can see almost a doji indicating a trend reversal. If the next H1 candle closes as a green candle, we will see that the bullish momentum will continue. That means the buyers will continue to dominate and the price will rise to higher levels, specifically the 65,000 and 66,000 areas. At this point, we need to wait and see how this candle closes before deciding whether to enter a trade or not. If this candle closes as a strong green candle, closing around 63,700, then we can confirm that the buyers continue to dominate and the price will keep rising. But if this candle closes as a red candle, then we need to wait for confirmation at this point. That means this morning we will have two entry zones. One of those zones is 63,800 if it confirms an upward move here. Here, we can see a zone called the temporary H1 support. There has already been a trend reversal here. If there is one more green candle for confirmation, the buyers will continue to gain strength and it will rise to a new high zone of 65,000, 66,000. But if today it closes with this candle still being red, then we still have to wait for one more red candle to confirm when the buyers start to gain the upper hand. And then we will enter a long order at this zone. If we can enter a long order at this zone, then we will set the stop loss somewhere down here, right? Yes, you always have to set a stop loss, meaning we cut right at this peak and this low. That means cutting at 63,200. But for me, I usually split it into two separate entries. If I enter one order, I will enter at the 63,800 zone. For the second order, I will enter somewhere around 62,300 here and set the stop loss below the 62,000 zone if I can enter at this point, if an entry can be formed here. If this area can't hold and breaks down, then my first entry will be at the 62,300 zone and the second entry will be at 61,800 and we will set the stop loss at 61,800. That's the zone where I will enter. Let me repeat, if BTC closes today's daily candle as a green candle with a doji reversal pattern, then it will continue to move up to new highs at 65,000 and 66,000. At that point, we will observe on the H1 time frame. If at this spot, the current candle, which is now green, closes as a red candle, then we will enter a long order at the 63,800 zone, and the second order we will enter at 62,300 with a stop at 62,000. But if it can't hold at this level and hasn't yet formed a reversal candlestick pattern and it drops down to this lower area, it will fall to the 62,300 zone. Then our first entry point will be at 62,300 and the second entry point will be at 61,800 with a stop at 61,800. Those are our entry points for this morning as well as for reference trades. And of course, all of this is just personal analysis, not investment advice. So we must take responsibility for our own investments, everyone. Please consider carefully before entering any trades. That's for BTC. So what about ETH? Yesterday, I gave everyone a long order for ETH at the 1,860 zone, and it went up to 1,897. So we also got a return of about 2%, and for BTC, it was also somewhere close to 2%. So the win rate is quite good, right? If you used 100 times leverage, then we would have made 200% already. So how is ETH doing this morning, everyone? ETH currently has a pretty strong support zone on the daily candle, and before that we had a pretty nice bullish candle. So with this bullish candle pattern, it's normal for it to retest this support zone. So with this ETH, how should we handle it this morning? On the H4 time frame, we can see that ETH has a pretty strong support zone around 1,840, and it has formed a very nice bullish candle right here. And after forming a bullish candle, there's a high probability it will retest the 1840 support zone once more, and then it will move up. And my view for this morning with ETH is that we should enter a position somewhere around 1,840, and the second entry would be at 1,820, while still setting our stop loss at 1,800. And I still believe that this is the area that it won't be able to break through. If it can't break through, then ETH will continue to go up. And the next expected take profit targets are 1,900 and 1,940, and even higher is 1,980. Those are the expected take profit levels for ETH this morning. ETH looks pretty good for opening a long position, but we won't enter at the current point. Instead, we'll look to enter somewhere around 1,840. If on the H1 time frame it forms a reversal candlestick pattern, then we can consider whether to enter a position or not. If we can enter, then our first order will be at 1,840, the second order at 1,820, and our stop loss will be at 1,800, everyone. For take profit, we'll set it at 1,900 and 1,940. Those are the two take profit levels. Let's stay flexible and adapt to the situation, everyone. With a win rate of 2 or 3%, that's actually quite a good win rate. You can consider taking partial profits and moving your stop loss back to the initial entry point. Those are my analyses of BTC and ETH for today. You can use them for your reference. If you find this helpful, please click the notification bell and subscribe to the channel to receive new videos every day. Goodbye, everyone.